guys. Just requesting host to check my sound and video quality first. Okay. Just 1 minute, let me settle some things. I'm sharing my screen now. All right, so I think you will, this is the paper from the code O. So I'll just also log on to YouTube so that I can check your comments. And then I'm going to start the analysis. So I was reading a lot of comments on YouTube when we were sharing the section cutoffs, children. And I think some of you wanted to know the category cutoffs. So our cutoffs are around 77 to 80 for any law school until the second list. In the third list, we do not know. Think it may go down 1 or 2 marks more. So the kind of cutoffs we predict are for, first and second list mostly. So for the category cutoffs, I think the OBC category cutoffs don't fall so much. You can reduce the overall cutoff by 7 to 10 marks. And for all other categories, the cutoffs will probably go down by another 10 to 15 marks. I hope that answers your questions, and we will be updating that on our website as well. So I'll be starting with the English section analysis now. Now, again, initial responses to the paper that I have been seeing have been very positive, mainly because your reading-based sections have been in your control. That is a good sign and a good thing that the reading-based sections have been in your control. As Devjyoti was pointing out, GK sometimes stretches to a point, where you have no control. So those questions should not bother you. But overall, the questions that were within the ambit of current affairs, those questions were pretty simple, and that should also push your score into the range of 22 to 24 marks. And I hope all those who have prepared well have been able to garner those 22 to 24 marks. The other comments that I was reading were on, the answer keys. All answer keys are uploaded on the website, and some of you requested for English and CR to be uploaded with the question paper. That is in the process, and now you can visit the website in another, in another 15-20 minutes, and I think you will get the question paper with the answer in the website as well. So I think that should, sort of get everything going. So the question paper is also getting uploaded, and then you can check the answers with reference to that question paper. So the question paper with the coding O, as you can see on the screen, is what I'm using at the moment. and the English language. The first question that you see is on the social media passage. Now, when it comes to the passage questions, none of these passages should have been difficult for you because you have been reading on social media, you have been reading the other passages that have been here, the cryptocurrency, oil and fuel, fossil fuels. So all these subjects have been dealt with in all your mocks throughout. If you check the mock papers, I think about 5 to 6 mock papers across different sections, whether it's legal, logic, GK, or English, have had cryptocurrency passages. Fossil fuel has been a regular passage also in our mocks, and similarly, animal behavior and considering animals inferior to us has also been in the mocks. Each passage in the English section had 5 questions. A definite question on theme, tone, and figure of speech was there. Then inference-based questions on what the meanings are, or what is not the meaning, or what cannot be inferred, or what can be inferred was definitely there as a 4th question. Some passages also had word meanings or required word meanings in order to answer them. So something that you have been experiencing regularly in the English section in the Clat Possible mocks. So a regular question on tone and central theme has been there. Plus, we started giving you poetic devices like transferred epithet, etc. And we have done all the office hours classes on tones and poetic devices and figures of speech. I hope you have put that to good use in the paper today. So let's quickly go over the first paper. And it starts off with a small narration of a child beggar Saru in search of his mother and using Google Satellite. And then the reference moves away from Saru in this passage and comes to technology and social media. Is the author promoting social media and technology? Because the example of Saru helps us think that the author is promoting social media and technology, because social media and technology has been used, for Saru to locate his mother. But the author, on the contrary, takes this away and focuses on how social media is actually taking away the childhood or the regular development of children and pushing them to loneliness and depression. So the passage's central theme is contradictory to the narration in the first paragraph of the passage. I hope you all noted it. Right? So that is what the central theme of this passage would be. So if we go to the questions 1 to 5 based on this passage, you will see that this has been a very, very good passage in terms of questions that you can easily locate. There is the first question. Let me mark the answers. From the passage, it is evident that Saru's desire to find his mother, naturally, option A will be eliminated. Saru ended up finding the mother. It wasn't something that Saru did not want to use Google Satellite. It was a necessity, so it was not an inspiration. It did not wane. In fact, the passage clearly says that Saru looked for his mother relentlessly. That's the first line, and hence relentlessly is what will be reflected in the answer, which is D. In the sentence, these very apps have snatched away the joys of long nature walks. Look at the word snatched away. Snatched away shows that the apps have been given human qualities. Hence, the answer will be option C. From the passage, one can conclude that it is impossible for people to reduce the usage of apps. Now, author does not say whether it's possible or impossible, right? And the author is not saying you cannot do it. The author says there is a reliance, but the author wants this reliance to go away because the passage ends on a positive note. Yes, the author connects loneliness to heavy usage of social media. So B will be our answer. This is opposite to what the author says, hence it is not an answer. And the author does not make a reference to all senior citizens, hence this is not an answer. So answer for 3 will be B. The fourth question from the passage, what can you infer? We can infer that there is basically a big number of psychologists who are looking after kids today. So yes, there is a special emphasis on mental and emotional health. That is why the author is saying that you have increased number of psychologists helping out kids. Uh, the author does not make any reference to teachers, existing teachers who are doing psychology. The usage of educational apps is not being discouraged. Nothing of this has been mentioned. And all the students, again, I think all of you have studied enough to know that most answers that have all and most as their reference words should be eliminated. So I hope you note down these answers quickly: 1D, 2C, 3B, and 4B. Now we'll come to the last question of the first passage. The concluding paragraph, the writer says that yes, there is depression and loneliness, but nothing that we cannot reverse. So this shows an optimistic tone and not a despairing or an apologetic tone. Nobody is being appreciated, so laudatory can also be eliminated. So the last answer for the first passage, question number 5, will be option A. So do tell me how you are doing so far in passage 1. Did you get all answers correct or not? So put that in the chat box. Next, we come to the second passage on cryptocurrencies, which I have been mentioning. Cryptocurrencies basically, has been referred or dealt with in a very criticizing tone over here by the author. And the author compares the cryptocurrency to the Ponzi scheme. And later on, you will notice the author is calling the cryptocurrency a Dogecoin or a Dogecoin Mars, right? And then also compares them to tulip mania. So clearly the author is not impressed with cryptocurrency, but what is happening here is that with the reference to cryptocurrency, the author is basically, talking about, our current monetary system. So is the author unhappy with cryptocurrency? Yes, but in the garb of criticizing cryptocurrency, the author is saying that while our monetary system is not perfect, but it is far better than what cryptocurrency offers. So there is a parallel theme that runs over here, which is, I wouldn't say appreciating our current monetary system, but definitely compares it with cryptocurrency and shares the fact that our current monetary system is sturdier because there is a real currency over there, something that you can bank upon. So in these paragraphs, from the second paragraph onward, the author talks about the whole current system that we have, the money credit system, and how it is so much better than the cryptocurrency system that has been put on offer, right? So I hope you were able to understand that. So is it only bashing cryptocurrency? No, it is in fact talking about money as a tradable debt, right? So comparing the two and showing how cryptocurrency is not as good as the current system. So this was the second passage. Let's quickly look at the answers to the second passage, everyone. So question number 6. what is best described as the tone of the author towards rich people, which is right in the beginning or the first paragraph. And the author says, let the rich become richer or poorer, doesn't matter. The author wants to safeguard the poor people. So naturally, the author's attitude towards the rich people is apathy or indifference. Apathy or indifference. Which of the following is true in context of the passage? The author defends the current money credit system. Yes, the author, I told you this is a parallel theme running. The author rejects the idea that the central bank creates money and are busy debasing. This is what the cryptocurrency wants us to believe. And the author discredits it. So yes, and the author backs the protection of poor. That's a direct reference to the first question. Since all of them are correct, the answer for this will be D or all of the above, which you can clearly see. Which rhetorical device is employed by the author in cryptocurrencies are the latest alchemy? So cryptocurrencies are the latest alchemy means cryptocurrencies are being described as that. Hence, it would be metaphor. So this is your first poetic device question, and you will notice that they will keep on coming. Which of the following does best describe the passage? Now, naturally, the passage does not have narration. The passage is based on an argumentative topic, right? And the passage is not descriptive. The passage begins with an argumentative topic, and then the author explains her point of view. So the flow is argumentative followed by explanatory. So the best answer for this, according to us, would be option A, based on the flow of thoughts of the passage. It begins with an argumentative thing, are cryptocurrencies good or bad? And then the author puts forth her point of view by explaining why the author feels that point of view is correct. So you have 6C, 7D, 8B, and 9A. And then we come to the 10th question. What do the cryptocurrency enthusiasts rely on? Naturally, all of them are mentioned, and hence the answer will be option D. So do share with me how many answers you got correct in the second passage. Of course, one or two answers can go here and there. I'll keep on telling you as we come across the official answer key, but I think 99% everything should be together there. So do share with me what has been your response in the second passage. And then we come to the third passage, which comes to public speaking as a skill. But public speaking as a skill has not been, continued as such in the passage as much as his examples of how public speaking have been able to create a difference. So coming right from the surrender speech to Churchill, right, to literature, which is William Faulkner's Nobel Prize acceptance speech, these examples have shown that how in different areas, whether it's the prime minister or a general or a literature person or a literateur who has used a good speech to make a difference, which has been the central theme. So the main idea, therefore, for the main idea answer for this is option B. Again, look at all and eliminate it. This is for 23 aspirants. Look at all and eliminate it. It's not about how a speech should be, it's not about demagoguery. It's about how impactful speeches have made a difference throughout, right? And D can also be eliminated. There is no characteristic of public speakers. It is about what a good speech can do. So answer for 11th is B, which I hope all of you have got. It wasn't a tough question or a closed option question. All right, let's look at the other questions here. So now the other questions were easy to do. The moment you see surrender speech, you should go back to the surrender speech and get your answer there, right? So the surrender speech was not satirical, it was not optimistic, it was basically heart-wrenching because as the name suggests, it was surrender, but more than surrender, it was showing desperation and hopelessness, right? 13th, again, you can go easily to Churchill and look at the answer. So Churchill did not want to inform or warn or remind. Churchill wanted to reassure. Churchill wanted to fill hope in the hearts of his countrymen, right? That no matter what, they are going to fight. They are not going to give up, right? All this you could have done easily. What is the word that least describes Churchill? So resolute, undaunted, and unwavering are synonyms. According to this passage, complacency does not describe Churchill. And 15th, again, you had to fill in the blank. The poet's voice. So when naturally it's not the voice, it's the poet. But if an adjective is shifted from the person to an attribute of the person, then it is known as a transferred epithet. You have seen plenty of mocks with transferred epithets. So the answers for questions 12 to 15 are C, D, 11th is B, 11th is B. Now, otherwise it's C, D, C, and D. C, D, C, D are your answers. So that's your third passage. Please do share with me how many you got correct in this passage. I'm sure there are many of you who got all correct in this passage. Yes, Sania Shafiq, passages can be jumbled up. That's not a big deal. Descriptive is not something where the author shows his opinion, wherever the author shows his or her opinion, it will be explanatory, not descriptive. Descriptive is a neutral tone. Great. So we do have 4 on 5 for many of you throughout. That's very nice. Let's come to passage 4. So passage 4 basically is a passage which shows animal treatment meted out by humans. And this is again a passage that we have given most recently in our mock. How different religions and philosophical theories put animals on a lesser pedestal than humans, where animals were regarded as brutes, unthinking, and because they were unthinking or did not show logic, they were thought to be useful only when it comes to humans, and they were not regarded to have a life of their own or a right to live on their own. So it takes you through some parts of Christianity and basically shows how philosophical, like Aristotle and other philosophers predate Christianity when it comes to talking about beasts or animals. Coming right up till Rene Descartes, and philosophy and religion both have had this view on animals. And some philosophers predating Christianity when it comes to this. So the first question is on the first paragraph on Rickaby's articulation. Now for question number 16, however, you needed to know the meanings of ecocentric, ethnocentric, anthropocentric, and androcentric. So question 16 was dependent on your knowing these meanings. So throughout the passage, the view of animals has been anthropocentric, means thinking that humans are the center of the universe. Ecocentric means thinking that nature is the center of the universe. This passage is opposite to ecocentric. Ethnocentric basically means my culture is the best. Thinking about your culture as the center of the universe, which is what most Americans do. They think about their culture as the center of the universe, and then they start talking about others. And this has been basically the philosophy of the white man most of the times. They have taken an ethnocentric view of everything. Whatever theories have been written, the way they have viewed the non-whites or third world nations or developing nations, they have always seen them with their eyes. So that's what you will learn when you go to college and university and law schools. When laws were made, most of the laws were ethnocentric, keeping the whites as the center. But thinking that only humans are the center of the universe is anthropocentric. Anthropocentric means of or related to, anthropo means of or related to humans. So these meanings you had to know. Uh, According to the author, how did Christianity contribute to insensitivity? Naturally, the way Christianity contributed has been it denigrated the value of earthly beings. It divided the world into, people with reason and without reason. So if you read the first, second, third paragraph, you will come across all these. And it considered animals to be peripheral, isn't it? So uh, the answer for this will be D or all of the above. So the fun part with English is, or with any other CLAT section, is that you have all of the above. However, if you have none of the above, then it is a typical thing, because chances are that your answer could be none of the above as well. So, all of the above, just be happy. Even if two are coming, you can rely on it. I can say it now because the paper is over. Anyway, so what was I saying? Yes, so that's 16 and 17. 16 is B and 17 is all of the above. Let's go down to other questions. 18, 19, and 20. Again, with 18, 19, and 20, you did need to know the meanings of these words. So naturally, some of these come with reading and having done these type of passages. So instrumentalism basically has been used as pragmatism, which means my theory of the world, my method of evaluating the world, my method or my theory of the world, right? Idealism is basically what I believe in. Egalitarianism basically means equality. That's not happening. But instrumentalism basically means how I make sense of the world. So if you read instrumentalism in the passage, this is what the meaning of that word comes up as. Which of the following is not true? Please mind, not true, right? So yes, Western philosophy, this is mentioned in the first paragraph, is under the influence of religion. That's given in the first paragraph. Western philosophical views have been influenced by religious notions, not really, because most of the Western philosophical views have predated religion. Western religious notions on animals have justified uh, subjection of animals to, this is given in the second last and last paragraph. And some of the scientific views have been influenced. So this is pretty much A and D are similar, right? So philosophy and science have been under the influence of religion, yes. Scientific views have also drawn from religion, yes. But some of the Western philosophical views have predated religious notions. So B will be incorrect over here. And it can be inferred that Rene Descartes' view is that, yes, it is dumb to think that animals can think. And Rene Descartes compared the sound of the bird to the clock. So naturally, he believed that they were mechanical people. Not people, they were mechanical beings. So both A and B are correct. Right? So the final three answers for this passage are A, B, and D. So not answer, I always mark with a cross. So let me mark this here. Do share with me your responses until now. How has the animal treatment passage treated you? Excellent. So let's move to passage 5. Passage 5 basically is centered around uh, the theory of posthumously recognizing talent, because we are very stubborn and obstinate and hyper when it comes to actually accepting change. So it starts with Ignace Semmelweis, the Hungarian doctor. The reference is COVID-19. You think, okay, so far we haven't seen a COVID-19 passage. How come? And you see a COVID-19 passage, but it's only a brief reference. Is the passage on COVID-19? No. The passage is on posthumous recognition of talent, not because of any other reason, but because we have always been harsh. And that's what the author says. So comes from the hand washing doctor, which has the longest story, to Van Gogh, to Kafka. So three greats have been addressed in this passage. And if you notice, the trend of the passages have been such that before this, the speech passage was not on speech, but on examples of how people influenced or made an influence on the world. Similarly, the COVID-19 passage is not on COVID-19, and it is not even on posthumous, uh, you know, awards, but on the fact that three great examples of three great people who were misunderstood, or because of our stubbornness, we did not treat them well, and they became famous posthumously. So what is the central idea of this passage? The central idea of this passage is how most people were awarded posthumously. Again, do you see all? Don't you think that the all is a bonus option and you can just eliminate it, right? This is ulta. We are not talking about undeserving innovators, right? This is again an extreme option, and this is the correct answer. I think most of you, or rather all of you, in this case, I can use the word all, have got this correct, right? So 21 is D. Let's look at the other questions here. '22 now. Let's look at questions from 22 to 25. From the passage, it is evident that Dr. Ignace's theory was rejected because, again, this is the central theme of the passage. Part of the central theme was asked in 21, but the actual central theme is continuing here, uh, which is, the fact that he could not substantiate it. Yes, but also that people did not accept change. So this is not why it was eliminated, but because the fact that people were not ready to accept, any new theories. And he was also not able to substantiate it. This happened much later, where he was declared insane. And this also happened much later and had nothing to do with rejection. So the best answer here is A. From the passage, we can conclude that art critics who they did not applaud it, they censured it, yes, they denounced it, and they did not acclaim it. So we are left with B and C. So who censured or denounced, both can be correct, but the second blank, tolerant, is incorrect. They were not tolerant, they were intolerant. So that means hypercritical. Answer for 23 will be B. From the passage, it can be inferred that Max Brod, naturally, we do not know why Max Brod did not tear up the manuscripts, while we cannot really say that he considered it unsacred, but the only rational option that is left is option D, that, why would he go ahead and get them printed? Maybe because he valued them. You know, this is too much to assume that he considered it unsacred. You'll have to know it, but there's no way to know option C. And of course, A is also very specific, and so is B. The only option we are left with is option D. And we needed to answer one vocabulary-based question. Recklessly, of course, means without a break, hence unabatedly. So the answers that we think are correct here are A, 22A, 23B, 24D, and 25C, right? And then we come to the last passage. Before that, let me see how has your response been for this passage. Great. So I can see most of you are sharing correct with me. So we come to the last passage, and this is on fossil fuels, and it takes you to a brief history of the First World War and then the Second World War, and how fuel has played a role in these outcomes, but most importantly, how fuel is now shaping the current geopolitical scenario. So is it just about wars? Because you have a central idea question in question 26. So will you mark A, or will you mark a broader answer, which is looking after the last paragraphs also on what is happening today, right? So while fossil fuel and wars has been mentioned, it will be a very narrow answer, right? And it'll a specific US answer will also be a little narrow. Mostly the best answer here, which also captures the scope of the passage, would be the role of fossil fuels in the world order, right? Which is option C. So next we go to the last questions. What is the cause of Germany's defeat? It's a passage fact-based question, right? Naturally, I think it should have been a few seconds answer. And what can you infer from Michael Clare's opinion? Well, from Michael Clare's opinion, which also is the opinion voiced by, what do you call her? Sorry, which is also the opinion voiced by Elizabeth de Lowry, would be the fact that the US is highly militarizing, energy, and hence the best answer for this would be option B. We cannot really use the word interfering or changing. We can only use the word militarizing. Tangentially related basically means, now the fun part is that while US is militarizing energy, it does not need it, because it shows how US is shifting and does not really need the energy it is guarding. So it's only doing it to maintain power. Hence our answer for 26 is justified. And what makes the US strategically dominating the global hegemon? It's again a repetition question. The fact that it can provide protection, and the fact that it has militarized, and it guarantees energy flow. It gives you oil and fuel when you need it, which will be option D. So again, I think if you look at it, it was a simple question. So now the fact remains how many passages you were able to do. Maybe some of you were not able to reach the last passage, or maybe some of you could only do one passage in a hurry. But if you were able to do all the passages, then I think around 20 to 22 correct answers should have happened. Otherwise, somewhere in the range of 17 to 19 marks should, considering you have done other sections also well, should ensure that you do make it to a law school. However, if you are targeting the top 5, then on something on the other side of 22 definitely is needed for you to get into a top 3 or a top 5. So that's the score and the minimum scores that will make you get an NLU as far as the English section is concerned. Some questions were definitely a giveaway. Those who have prepared well and were fast readers and have done their tone questions and poetic devices properly, I think should be able to score on something between 22 to 25 marks. And if you are a 23 aspirant, this should give you a hint of the kind of preparedness that you need in your paper in December. Because as far as we are concerned, we feel that both the June papers and the December papers are already made, at least these sections, and something like this is what you can easily expect in the December paper. So in English, for the 23 aspirants, main idea, tone, inference, poetic devices, these are the questions to watch out for. Another interesting area is that in legal also the questions hinted at being central idea questions and inference questions. So that means reading, main idea and inference are your key game changers for the December CLAT. So all those who have written the 22 paper, I hope you have got your answers, and one or two questions were a little close. Otherwise, I feel this is, it was an unambiguous paper. And these are the answers from our side. I'm quickly just checking the chat. And there is there are some questions that people want some answer for. So some of you are asking, shouldn't 27 be D? But it's not as if the German Navy was weak. Weakness of the German Navy is not the answer. So how can you mark D for this, Anjali Verma or Salek Ahmed? The German Navy was very good, but it was because of the oil that they were not able to use the advantage of their Navy. So D is not the correct answer for 27th, unfortunately, right? So we do not know about the official answer key, but this is the answer key that we have as of now. So please log on to our website and check our answer key. Maybe by tonight they have the official answer key, right? There is one more question. 25 will not be B. Relentlessly does not mean reckless. Relentlessly basically means not giving up, hence unabatedly, without a break. So the answer for that should be C. Right? Unabashedly means shamelessly. So hence for 25, the answer will also not be D, it will be unabatedly. Right? I hope that answers your questions, children. And I have marked all the answers here. So if you have missed anything, you can go back to the video and check the answers for each passage. That is all from my side. And other sections are going to follow soon. So please stay tuned to our channel. Now, you will have the other subjects. So yes, all subjects will happen one after the other. So please stay tuned for the other subject. All sections will be happening just now. So I'm going to sign out and the next teacher will be signing in. So all sections will be analyzed. The whole paper will be analyzed just now today. So don't go anywhere. Thank you.